Hi, I'm Phil Routley, and this is 5 Minutes with Phil. Today I'm continuing with Paul's first letter to Timothy. It's what I call Timothy, my son. I remember hearing about the training that people go through in order to become a teller in a bank. One essential skill is to be able to recognize counterfeit currency. In Canada, I'd estimate that something like 99% plus of the funds that we deal with would be Canadian money, and there are quite a number of features on the bills which make them hard to counterfeit and easy to detect. But the number one method of detection is the feel. Tellers are trained by handling hundreds of thousands of Canadian bills so that when they handle one that isn't genuine, it sticks out like a sore thumb. It's not about here's what to look for on phony money. It's about knowing the real thing. Same thing with knowing what is godly. Paul writes, have nothing to do with godless myths and old wives' tales. Instead, spend a lot of time knowing what godliness actually looks and feels like. In other words, you don't have to know every trick of the evil one that is in the book that Satan is capable of dreaming up. You need to know Jesus. Paul writes, train yourself to be godly. Maybe it's weird, but when I think of training, I immediately begin hearing the theme song from Rocky. If I was in my teens and I had a shot at becoming a professional home run hitter, I'd watch every video I could find of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. This amazing 23-year-old hit 80 home runs for the Blue Jays over the last 2 years. A couple of years ago, he came within inches of winning the home run derby at the All-Star game. I want to see how it's done. If I wanted to make a living as a football broadcaster, I'd watch as many games as I could and listen to the way the play-by-play guys do it. Watch the best and learn from the best. If I wanted to be a great auto mechanic, I'd spend time tinkering with my own car, watching all the YouTube videos I could get my hands on, read all about it every chance I got, take the right classes at high school, go to a trade school. Same thing would go for being an electrician, a plumber, an architect, a lawyer, a teacher, you name it. If you want to get good at something, spend time with those who excel at it. This is not rocket science. But you can't just watch. You have to do. If that means emulate, so be it. What it certainly means is to do it. Not just talk about it, but do it. So if you want to be godly, and you should, spend time first with God. Read His Word. Get to know His Word. Study His Word. Talk about His Word. Examine His Word. Talk to Him about His Word. Immerse yourself in God's Word, for it is the final authority for Christian faith and practice. But it's also a good idea to get to know Christian greats, the ones who've had the greatest impact on the greatest number of lives. People like Billy Graham, Bill Bright, Mother Teresa, William and Catherine Booth. If you haven't already seen the movie Jesus Revolution, don't miss it. Learn from this story about Chuck Smith and Greg and Kath Laurie. There are a lot of great examples of bad examples, too. I'm not going to mention any, but even leaders who've fallen from grace have something to teach us. Sometimes it's where they went wrong, so we can avoid the same pitfalls. Train yourself to be godly. Good advice, Paul.